What are the best classes in Oblivion Remaster for Master Mode? So what we're looking for are basically good builds that are ready to be used, and we don't want to have to go out of our way to make these builds function. Obviously, with any class, no matter how bad you make it, you can always just start using alchemy and magic and you'll do fine. But we want to consider how good these are for early to middle game and how cohesive the build is. Like, does the build actually make sense? Does it have skills that actually work well together, or does it have random skills or just straight up bad skills? So the three major things a class has are the specialization, which is combat, magic, or stealth, which all that does is you level the skills in those categories faster. There's 2 starting attributes that get +5, so you have a small bonus and 2 starting attributes, and then you have 7 skills. So those are the major components of a build, so let's get into it. All right, the first one we have is Acrobat. So Acrobat is specialization stealth, which is fine. All we're looking for now is a build that is a stealth build. It has agility and endurance as attributes. Now, agility is good for a stealth build, so that aspect of it is fine. Endurance, assuming we are actually using stealth, is not as important. But other things, would be a little bit better. Maybe magic, maybe intelligence, willpower, something like that. The skills are acrobatics, blade, block, marksman, security, sneak, speechcraft. So of these skills, acrobatics, it's called the acrobat, so I get it, that's fine. Blade and block are fine, but on a build that wants to be on stealth, doesn't really make sense. Also, there's no armor or alteration. Usually, if you want to tank a hit, you need light armor, heavy armor, or alteration. And if you have none of those things, this is an unarmored build, essentially. Now, you can still run armor, but because you don't have a starting bonus to it, it's going to make a lot of things bad. It also lacks magic, and it lacks alchemy. Both of those things are really important for stealth builds. At least one of them should be used, I would recommend. Speechcraft and security are dead skills. Skeleton key and alteration completely undermine security. So if a build has security and speechcraft in it, it's probably going to be placed low. I think Acrobat is D tier. I don't think it's very good. It doesn't have armor. It has blade and block, which it doesn't need if it's a stealth archer. It has security and speechcraft, which are just bad skills. Because if you use illusion magic, you can completely undo the need for speechcraft. And if you use skeleton key or alterations, or even just greater or lesser powers that open like chests and stuff, you can completely bypass the need for security. All right, next we have is agents. So agent is another stealth specialization. Attributes, agility, and personality. Personality is the worst attribute by far. Now, this is only +5 in this, so maybe the build will make up for it. We have acrobatics, illusion, marksman, mercantile, security, sneak, speechcraft. So of these, honestly, illusion, marksman wins if you just use chameleon or invisibility. So in that way, this build is serviceable. The speechcraft is dead, the security is dead, the mercantile is nice to have, but it's not the worst thing. This is a functional build. I'll put it in B tier, maybe C tier. I'll put it in C tier for the personality and all the other dead skills. It has arguably 2 completely dead skills, and then mercantile is like a nice to have if you have a good build. But like sneak, sneak, marksman, illusion does win. However, it is missing alchemy, and alchemy, like if you're discovered, so there's 2 ways we can look at this. Either you're using 100% chameleon and you probably don't need alchemy, or you're not and you do, and this doesn't have it if you do and you're not using chameleon. So I think it belongs in C. Next we have archer. So archer's specialization is actually combat, agility and strength, armor, blade, blunt, hand-to-hand, light armor, marksman, sneak. So archer has too much going on in terms of weapon skills. It has no magic at all. The thing I have, I have a problem with no magic. If you have any kind of build, you're looking at a resource that can always be used, right? Like if you never use your spells, if you never use any magic at all, you constantly just have a third resource you're not leveraging. So even if you plan on using 0 magic, you could just pop out a summon, you could heal yourself, you could put buffs on yourself for more armor, more speed, whatever. There's so many different things that can be used, so when a build just doesn't have magic at all, I think it's automatically bad. But archer is bad because it has blade and blunt. This should be an either or, and it should really be blade, because blunt is not that good in this game. Hand-to-hand is a dead skill. Also, it has no magic and no alchemy, so I think it's probably high D tier. Now, can you beat the game with this build? Sure, but you would be better off splashing other things for more damage or effects. Next, we have Assassin, another stealth build. We have specialization Stealth, attributes Intelligence and Speed, skills Acrobatics, Alchemy, Blade, Light Armor, Marksman, Security, and Sneak. So this has Sneak, Marksman, Light Armor, and Alchemy. That alone is good enough. It also has Intelligence and Speed, which is decent. I'm going to put this in B tier. Now, assuming we're running the Alchemy, it could go higher. I'm putting it in B tier because it has Security, which is like a dead skill. It has Acrobatics, which is a situational skill at best. It has Blade, but it doesn't need it. So it has like 3 dead skills I don't think matter. Intelligence and Speed are fine for starting skills. It also has no magic, though. So if it had magic, I'd move it up. Now, you can rely completely on Alchemy for like your healing and your poisons and all this. The only problem, though, is if you're relying on Alchemy to kill, you want Destruction so that you can do weakness to poison. Otherwise, there's a lot of poison immune enemies that are going to completely hard counter your poisons, so that's always bad. All right, next we have Barbarian. Specialization Combat, attributes Speed, Strength, and then it has Armor, Athletics, Blade, Block, Blunt, Hand-to-hand Light Armor. This has the Archer problem. I'm going to put it... I actually think this is D tier. Yeah, I'm putting this in D tier. So it has no magic at all, which is already a problem because you have a resource, you have Magicka, you might as well use it for something. You might, like, even if you don't plan on using magic, you might as well use Restoration for healing or for buffing. One of the huge things Restoration can do early game is give yourself, like, plus 50 Blade. So if you're at 50 Blade, it bumps you up to 100, and that really ramps your damage a ton. But outside of that, the things that suck on it, it doesn't need Blunt and Hand-to-hand. It should have, like, Restoration and something else, maybe Alchemy if you want more damage or Destruction. So it's just going to be lacking in damage overall, and it doesn't really seem to be super good. Some people argue Light Armor is worse than Heavy. It pretty much is for early to middle game. If you run Alteration, it's not as bad, but it generally is. It is like a little bit worse for sure, because it's only good at like 100. Otherwise, you're looking at like 30 to 50% damage reduction for the most part. Next, we have Bard. Okay, so Bard, Stealth, Specialization, Intelligence, Personality. So Personality is the worst starting attribute. It's the worst attribute. It doesn't matter if you level it. Skills, Alchemy, Blade, Block, Illusion, Light Armor, Mercantile, Speechcraft. So of these, so it's a Stealth specialization without Sneak, but it does have Illusion, and that's good enough. So Blade plus Illusion does win. The rest of it, so Alchemy as well. So it kind of has everything it needs except for Destruction. It seems to be about the same level as Assassin, which also has Alchemy, Blade, but this also has Marksman. But we're assuming you're running 100% Chameleon, this is going to pop off. But it does need Sneak, so it's missing a component to the build because you want to have Sneak as high as possible so you get 8 times on your dagger, and then you ignore Armor, which is also nice. So if you want to go for a broken Chameleon build, this would do that. Assuming that that's what we're doing with both of these. But even then, there's more optimal starting setups. Next, we have Battlemage. So first magic one. Intelligence and Strength for attribute bonuses. Skills, Alchemy, Alteration, Blade, Blunt, Conjuration, Destruction, Mysticism. So this does have a lot. It doesn't need the Blunt, so it's losing points for that. But Alchemy, so Alteration is good. For tanking, for opening locks, for doing like miscellaneous things, utility things. Alchemy is really good for your main source of damage. Destruction is also really good for your main source of damage. Conjuration is a fantastic support skill. Mysticism is a good support skill just for Soul Trap. And if you want, I guess like Spell Reflect and stuff like that. But it has a lot of the pieces for a build. It's missing Armor, but you don't need Armor if you just don't get hit. I'm going to put this in A tier. It has, so here's what it has. It has Blade as a delivery system for enchantment damage. It has Conjuration and Mysticism to summon something and then kill it. And then it has the 2 best sources of damage, Alchemy and Destruction. So it has all the things you need. And it also has Alteration for tanking. So its Armor is basically Alteration. The only thing I would change is for starting attributes, I would go Intelligence Willpower instead of Intelligence Strength, because you're going to be delivering damage through your enchantments, not your weapons, and I would drop Blunt for something else. Next we have Crusader. So combat specialization. Strength, willpower, athletics, blade, blunt, destruction, hand-to-hand, heavy armor, restoration. So immediately losing points for having blade and blunt. Blunt is just not needed. Attack slower than blade. It's worse than blade. Blade can deal more damage if you wanted to deal damage. Destruction is good. Restoration is good. Athletics is a good starting thing for heavy armor because it allows you to move a little bit faster. Hand-to-hand is also bad. So this build, you're looking at a destruction nuke with ramping that also could run enchantments. It's missing conjuration and mysticism. Mysticism for cheap soul trap. Conjuration for summoning things just to refill Azura Star. So I'm going to put this in, I think, C tier. I think it's just missing some big combo pieces. It's almost there, though. It's almost decent. All right, next we have Healer. So Healer is specialization magic, attributes personality, willpower. Willpower is good, personality is dumb, so I'm docking points for that. For skills, we have Alchemy, which is huge, Alteration, Destruction, Illusion, Mercantile, Restoration, Speechcraft. So Speechcraft is a dead skill, Mercantile is a mid skill, but it can be used in certain builds. But Restoration, so what is this missing? It's missing, well, it doesn't, you don't have to run Blade if you want to deliver enchantment damage, but you could be a Destruction nuke that ramps. That's good enough. What else? You also have Alchemy. The Alchemy doesn't really combo into anything, so it's missing like Marksman or Blade. So it's not a dead skill, because you can still use it to refill your magic. But it's just not being leveraged fully because it's lacking. Like, you could easily drop Speechcraft for Blade and it would just make the build better. What else? No armor, but it does have Alteration, so you could consider the Alteration the armor. I'm going to put this in, I think, high B tier. I think it's just like, I don't like the personality. I don't like the Speechcraft. Like, those are just two dead things, two dead bonuses. Because we're considering, like, how quickly can we get a thing online. The Illusion is always nice. Like, even if you're a Destruction Mage, you can still be a Destruction Mage with this. It's just that it has some suboptimal starting things. It could have better things. All right, Knight. So combat, specialization, personality, strength. So another personality, so we don't care about that. That's already bad. Skills, blade, block, blunt. So we can drop blunt. Hand-to-hand, can drop the hand-to-hand. Heavy armor, illusion, and speechcraft. So it has 3 bad skills: blunt, hand-to-hand, and speechcraft. Illusion is good, heavy armor is good, blade and block are good. Missing armorer, I'm putting this in D tier. You don't want to miss armorer. Missing armorer wants athletics. All heavy armor, I think, wants armor and athletics or alteration. Like, you want athletics or alteration or both. If you run both, then you're just way faster. Early game for heavy armor builds is rough unless you farm out training or run Lord plus alteration. Lord plus alteration will carry you in the early game, but otherwise it's going to be difficult. Also, no self-healing, no alchemy, no restoration. So how is this thing healing? Like, if you're a heavy armor tank, you're slow, you're an easier target, you're going to be fighting things, you know, in close quarters combat, taking damage, dealing damage. So you need some way to heal. So if you don't have alchemy for potions or restoration for healing, you're just going to die pretty quickly. So just not optimal, not even like close. Mage. So mage is magic, intelligence, willpower, alchemy, alteration, conjuration, destruction, illusion, mysticism, restoration. This is S tier. How do I know this is S tier? Because I just made a character on it and it got so boring from just, like, it's literally all magic and alchemy is the best shit. It's like all the best stuff. It also has intelligence, willpower, specialization, magic. You don't need armor because you can just pop alteration to give yourself armor if you really are worried about that, but you move so fast in clothes. So if you run a staff with this build, if you just run magic in general with this build, I made a staff mage and it's just absolutely cracked. It has AoE damage from Staff of Storms, which does 70 shock over 2 seconds, so 35 damage a second in a 10-foot radius. So I can cast like a 2 ramp and then just start nuking with spells, or nuking with that. I can summon stuff. The alchemy, honestly, I think is a support skill here. I don't think you want it for poison. I think you want it for restore magic potions. I don't really like alchemy, but I do recognize it's S tier. So for the people who like to do alchemy, it's like you get so much magic back per second, it's ridiculous. But it has completely optimal setup. It has everything you want for a mage build. It has the best 2 starting attributes, intelligence and willpower. At least that's what I think are the best. And it also has the best specialization. So you power level, you basically could take this and level it to 20 just by casting spells in Arcane University. Go get your Necromancer's Amulet and you immediately are overpowered. It's just absolutely insane. I will make a video on this soon. I have the build already done. It's boring to run because it's so good, but... All right, Monk. Here we go. Here's a spicy one. Stealth specialization, agility, willpower, acrobatics, alteration, athletics, hand-to-hand, marksman, security, sneak. This one is just all over the place. So acrobatics, alteration, athletics. So the hand-to-hand is bad, even though that's the main draw, because it's like a dude punching things and he has a bow. Security, so security and hand-to-hand are dead skills. Sneak is fine. Marksman is fine. There's no combo though. There's no alchemy. There's no destruction. There's no conjuration mysticism. So just alchemy helps you deal big damage with poison. Destruction allows you to make enemies weak to poison, so you can bypass poison immunity, or just ramp an enchanted weapon. And then conjuration, mysticism are good because you use cheap soul trap to soul trap a summon to refill Azura Star, which then gets dumped into your weapon. So then you can do like a destruction ramp into an enchanted weapon, and then you can constantly maintain your enchantment for pretty much low cost or no cost. Low cost if you have like backup grand soul gems or greater soul gems to dump into your enchanted weapons. But if you take the time after combat to summon something and kill it really quickly to soul trap it, you can keep refilling your weapon enchantment. So this is just lacking like fundamental master mode combos. I think this is like here. It also doesn't have any of the things that like Stealth Archer wants. Like if you want to break the game or like just do well, Illusion is better. Conjuration would be better than hand-to-hand because then you can summon something. And then Mysticism Conjuration if you want like a combat archer that shoots and then has a summon and goes for like enchantment damage or something like that. But this is just really bad. Nightblade. Magic, speed, willpower, acrobatics, alteration, athletics, blade, destruction, light armor, restoration. So I like that this doesn't have blade and block, or I'm sorry, blade and blunt, and hand-to-hand. It's missing those terrible skills. Speed and willpower are fine. Acrobatics is decent. Alteration is good for topping off armor with light armor, so there's synergy there. Athletics allows you to be a little bit faster, so you can move around, maybe dodge attacks. You have blade. So destruction and blade, you can ramp into an enchantment. Restoration, you can self-heal. It's missing conjuration mysticism for the complete reset, but you could buy soul gems. It's just clunky. You have to like open up your inventory unless you get like a ton of greater, grands, and then hotkey those or something. Otherwise, like you can't recharge different soul gems in the same hotkey. That's a nice thing about Azura Star. As long as it has something in it, it's hotkeyable. But acrobatics should be replaced with like conjuration. And what else would we drop? I don't really know. Maybe drop, well, alteration helps you hit armor cap. But I don't think this wants to tank. I think it could drop alteration or light armor. I'm going to put this in like C tier. It has some of the things that are good. Now, could you just be a destruction mage off of this? You could. I guess that's always a factor. It still has speed willpower, so you could be a fast destruction mage, if nothing else. But compared to mage, which also has all the like the whole suite, I think if you want to be a destruction mage, you usually want more than just that. But you could just run straight up destruction on this. Maybe low B tier. Alright, so the next one. Pilgrim. Specialization stealth, endurance, and personality. So already bad because of personality. Skills, armor, block, blunt, light armor, mercantile, security, speechcraft. Alright, so security, speechcraft, dead skills. Blunt is worse than blade by far. There is some combo here with the light armor of like stacking armor, but you're not going to be dealing that much damage. You have no way of ramping your damage. I think Pilgrim is just straight up bad. It just doesn't do enough to like justify running it. Rogue. So specialization combat, personality speed, so another personality one. Alchemy, athletics, blade, block, illusion, light armor, mercantile. So these actually aren't bad. It's missing sneak for early sneak because you can't, like if you're an illusion build, unless you power level illusion to 100 right away, which some people don't do that and they won't do that, but for the people who do, then illusion is immediately going to pop off. Without sneak early on, it definitely hurts. Sneak with blade is difficult to do early on until you get high enough sneak, because enemies can detect you super easily. But it does have illusion to help it work with sneak. This build is clearly missing sneak. It doesn't want personality. It needs to drop mercantile. Alchemy is good, but it needs destruction and for it to be effective against most targets. Well, against like maybe like 30 to 40% of enemies that are immune to it. But it's not terrible. I would say it's like high C tier. It's missing, so it has I'm docking points for personality, for mercantile. It needs alchemy combo. Like if you're gonna run alchemy for damage, you want destruction. Like you don't have to spam destruction spells, you just use the weakness to poison. That's it. Even if you just use it once, that's enough to put poison on things, then you can win. Otherwise, without it, it's kind of, you know, half the time it works, half the time it doesn't, because there's poison immune enemies. Scout. Endurance, speed for attributes, combat specialization, acrobatics, alchemy, armor, athletics, a lot of A's, blade, block, light armor. So this one, it's an alchemy nuke, but it's missing destruction for the debuff. Endurance, speed is fine. Blade, block, light armor is fine. Athletics is good, armor is good. At least it makes sense. I would drop acrobatics for destruction, and then I would say this is a pretty solid build. But because it's missing one of the major things, I'm putting it in high C tier. Next we have Sorcerer. Magic, and then attributes, endurance, intelligence, skills, alchemy, alteration, conjuration, destruction, heavy armor, mysticism, restoration. So this is almost like a mage. This is like a tankier mage, like slightly tanky mage. So what do we have? What are we missing, if anything? So we have alchemy, so if you want crazy regen or poisons, you can run them. We have destruction, so we have poison combo. We also have huge mana pool if we spam alchemy potions. We can also heal with alchemy or restoration. We have ramp. We have soul trap, conjuration combo. The only thing missing is illusion or like 1 second paralyze. Excuse me, 1 second paralyze if you want it. But outside of that, I think this is good. I think this is like a solid A tier. It has the best. It has the better of the two. It has heavy armor alteration synergy. It has conjuration mysticism synergy. It has alchemy destruction synergy. It has ramp if it wants it. It has crazy mana regen from alchemy if it wants it. It has pretty much everything you want, but it does not have illusion. You could argue this is S tier. The heavy armor doesn't really make sense to me. Like, why heavy armor with this build? Because this is basically like a mage, but it also has heavy armor. And if you just paralyze enemies, and the enemies that are immune to paralyze are pretty easy to avoid. Spider, Daedra, I think like skeletons, and Storm Atronach. Most enemies that are a huge threat can be paralyzed. So 1 second paralyze is very good. But it has heavy armor, but it doesn't really do anything with it. So it doesn't have like blade or something. So I don't know, it just seems like it wants to be some kind of heavy armor build, but it's lacking block. Oh yeah, it's also lacking armor. Yeah, I think A is fine for it. It has like a lot of the best combos in the game, but it's lacking armor. Armor is a pain to level in this game. Now, there are ways to level it. One of the main ones is casting Disintegrate Armor on yourself or picking up enemy armor and then repairing it. But if you're going to be running heavy armor, you want armor. So I think just that puts it in A tier instead of S. All right, next we have Spellsword. So magic, endurance, willpower, alteration, blade, block, heavy armor, destruction, illusion, restoration. So alteration for early feather, for hitting early armor cap. So good synergy with heavy armor. It's also missing armor, but it has blade, block, destruction, restoration, which is a really solid combo. I would probably drop block for armor. Endurance, willpower. For tanks, I mean, that's fine. That's not bad. A little bit of extra starting health. I'm going to put this in high A tier. I think it is really good. Spellsword. I think it wants armor as well. Like, if you're running heavy armor, you want armor. If you want to leverage tanking, you want to get the 125 durability. You want to get the single-use hammer. Like, you want these things eventually. You want a bonus to it as well. You want to start off with armor. Otherwise, it's like, you know, it's kind of annoying. Your hammers break all the time. You have to have, like, tons of hammers. For early game. Early to middle. All right, so Thief. So stealth, agility, speed, acrobatics, light armor, marksman, mercantile, security, sneak, speechcraft. All right, so agility, speed is fine. Stealth is fine for the specialization, the starting bonuses to attributes. Acrobatics is fine if your build is like a free slot. This build is missing a lot. So its main damage is marksman, sneak, but it's missing poison, it's missing destruction, it's missing conjuration or mysticism. Now you can always run conjuration, mysticism as like secondary skills just to make summons, but it is nice to have. But like if you're not going to be if you're running enchant damage, you want conjuration just to like keep refilling. Because if you fight humans, you can't soul trap them unless you have black soul gems. So if you start soul trapping, like let's say your enchanted weapon has like 30 uses, like 20 to 30 uses is pretty common, and you fight like 10 humans in a row, and then you're out of enchantment. It's nice to be able to pop a minion, kill it, siphon its soul into Azura's, and then refill your enchanted weapon. So like stealth, but this is a stealth archer build. Stealth archer builds still want enchant damage. They can do this out of combat. So it just doesn't really do anything. It doesn't have, like, if you're going to be stealth archer, you want illusion, or like, if you're just going to be general archer, you want like alchemy plus destruction, or just destruction for ramping. I would say this is like D, like middle of D tier. It just doesn't have damage. It's not going to hit very hard. It just doesn't really have anything to help you. So for early game, you're going to be shooting something for 3 times or 8 times if you do dagger switch, which will not kill it for the most case, like for the most part. And then it's going to attack you, and then you're going to have to shoot it like 20 times. So without some kind of damage ramp, you're not going to be dealing damage. Or like enchantment combo. All right, so warrior. Combat specialization, endurance, strength, armor, athletics, blade, block, blunt, hand-to-hand, heavy armor. It's just not very good. So why is it not very good? So it has synergy with armor, heavy armor, blade, block, and athletics. But hand-to-hand and blunt are dead skills. This wants like restoration and destruction, and then I think it would be at least serviceable. But endurance, strength as starting attributes, it doesn't really do much. You're better off running alteration if you want more health, because having higher armor reduction or having higher armor rating will reduce more damage than you can gain health. So I think intelligence, willpower are the best starting attributes, unless you're on Atronach, in which case it's intelligence plus whatever you feel like. But intelligence, willpower are pretty good for base magicka plus regen, and I think that every build wants them, unless you're running either Atronach or maybe alchemy, assuming that you're like religiously making potions that give you magicka back. But I just don't think this is really going to do much on... You're going to have a hard time. It has no self-heal. It has no damage ramp. It has no synergy with recharging enchantments. It has no synergy with dealing damage through destruction or through enchantments through destruction ramp. It has no poison. It has no conjuration. It doesn't even have restoration to heal itself. It has like nothing that a warrior wants or needs. So it has like no self-heal. It's just missing everything to function. Because like, how are you going to heal like the store-bought potions? If you rely on store-bought potions, you're going to run out of potions so fast. And like in every dungeon you do, you're going to have like 50 potions just to survive. It's just not good. All right, Witch Hunter. Specialization, magic, agility, intelligence for attributes. Skills, alchemy, athletics, conjuration, destruction, marksman, mysticism, security. So this one is actually pretty close to being... Like, it's definitely strong. Agility, intelligence are fine. Obviously, agility, willpower is better, but agility gets you some bow damage. Unfortunately, the bow damage, while decent in master mode, it's not going to be your carry. Like, if you're running an enchanted bow, which you should be on a class like this, you're going to be looking to use at least like 1 to 2 destruction ramps, or at the very least, poison ramp. You just need 1 poison ramp, so you can go for alchemy nuke or destruction nuke. You have Conjuration Engine, which is massive. This class is actually quite good. You have Alchemy for Magicka regen for poisons. You have Athletics for move speed. You have Conjuration for summons or just for recharging Azura's Star. You have Destruction for amplifying your Alchemy and your Enchanted Bow, or both. You have Marksman, which is your delivery system of damage. You have Mysticism for your cheap soul traps. Now, cheap soul traps are important. You want to actually level up Mysticism to 100. And with Destruction and Mysticism, you can make like a ramp combo. You can summon like a Daedroth or a Gloom. I think there's like a Grand Soul. It's like a ghost. It's like the something Gloom. I can't remember the first term for it, but it's like the highest level of Gloom summon. And it's really easy to kill. You hit it with like a 2 or 3 spell combo, and then you finish with a Soul Trap. And then you can recharge your bow. The only bad thing about Witch Hunter is security, which should be literally anything else. But it has pretty much everything you need to win. It is missing armor, like it's missing like light or heavy armor or alteration. I would say security being dropped for alteration would make this build much better. And what else? I would change agility to willpower. But this is pretty solid. I would put this in like middle of A tier. All right, so here's where I think the classes are based on what they do and how well they combo into things. I do think Mage is the best. I also recently made one. You run it with a staff, and you basically have, like even without using alteration, you have, or I'm sorry, alchemy, you still have a ton of magic, and all you have to do is just do the Mages Guild questline, and you unlock custom spell making immediately. You can just run a staff. Now, if you do the Arcane University at level 15, I think it's level 15 plus, you can get like an 80 damage staff that has like 40 uses, which is enough to kill. If you use like 2 destruction ramps, 80 damage is enough to kill most things. For things that are higher health, you might have to do a 3rd ramp, but that's pretty cracked. And there's also big AoE staffs that do tons of damage, in addition to this just having literally everything you could want. It has the best, in my opinion, the best starting attributes, the best specialization, and all the best stuff. And it's like a self-fulfilling build. It does everything you could need. And you might be thinking, oh, it doesn't have a tank. Throw alteration on yourself, you're good to go. You can make yourself invisible. Like, there's so many like things. You can mind control enemies, you can summon things, you can do literally everything that wins, and wins hard. But that is it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, found this useful. Feel free to drop a comment as to how these are better or worse than I placed them, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.